If you're stuck in credit card debt and you're wondering how to get out of it without selling your soul to the bank or filing bankruptcy, then this video is for you. We're going to cover why credit card debt is so harmful, why it's so easy to get stuck in this cycle, and you're going to walk away with 3 steps to help you pay off credit card debt fast. Hi, I'm Allison Baggerly, and my family paid off over $111,000 of debt on 2 teacher salaries. So trust me, I understand how overwhelming and difficult dealing with debt can be like. Before we dive in, I just want you to know that I do have a free printable for you. It's a PDF. It's called your Credit Card Debt Escape Plan, and it walks you through, even more than this video does, how to pay off credit card debt fast. Now, I think that having credit card debt not only is overwhelming for your emotions and it feeling like you are stuck, but obviously the math is against you here. So I wanted to walk you through the financial cost of having credit card debt and what it looks like when you're not paying off that credit card balance every single month in full. But we're going to show you 2 options here, option A and option B. And the goal is for you to see the impact that credit card interest has on you. So we have a scenario here. I want you to put yourself in this person's shoes, and you have a credit card. That credit card has a balance of $10,000, meaning you've borrowed $10,000. That is now the balance. The interest rate on that credit card is 24%, which honestly, that's pretty average. That's standard here with interest rates. So your credit card has $10,000 on it. It has a 24% interest rate, and the minimum payment is $215. If you continue to only make the minimum payment every single month, because you don't want to get behind, right? You don't want to get charged with late fees or anything like that. So you do your due diligence. You send that $215 in every single month. Well, all in, even if you make that $215 minimum payment on that $10,000 credit card balance, that interest, the total interest you are going to be paying until you pay it off, is $18,908. Let that sink in for a bit. You borrowed $10,000. Maybe it was to go on vacation or to finance a remodel or partial remodel of your home. Maybe it was just to buy groceries because you just got stuck in this cycle of getting by. But you borrowed that $10,000. And because you only made the minimum payment and you didn't pay off that credit card, over the life of that, you will have paid over $18,000 in just interest, meaning that you borrowed $10,000, but all in, you're paying back over $28,000. And not only are you going to be paying that much in interest, but it's going to take you 135 months, which is the same as 11 years and 3 months to pay that credit card off. So that's option A. And unfortunately, a lot of people find themselves in this position. So let's talk about option B, because I want you to see how the interest rates impact this. We have borrowed $10,000, but let's say that the interest rate is 4%. Now, you're not going to find a credit card with 4% interest rate. Maybe this is a personal loan. The goal here is not to dig into those details. The goal here is to see the difference between a 24% interest rate and the impact that has and a 4% interest rate. So we're looking at high interest versus low interest debt. We borrow $10,000, 4% interest rate. Minimum payment is still the same. We're going to keep it at $215 a month. You only make that minimum payment every single month like you're supposed to. You will end up paying $4,500 in interest compared to option A, which is over $18,000 of interest. And it's not because you are making extra payments. It's because that interest rate is so much lower. And it won't take you 11 years or over 11 years to pay off this debt. It's only going to take you 18 months, which is a year and a half. Look at this difference. If it was me, I would choose option B. But that is why credit cards, and when you carry a balance on them, can be so harmful for your money, for your mental health, for your well-being. It's because those interest rates are so high and so outrageous that it makes it hard to get ahead. Not only is the math against you, but I also want to talk about the emotional cost that credit card debt can have on you. Not only does credit card debt steal your money, right, in the form of those higher interest rates, but it is also stealing your peace of mind, your energy, your confidence when it comes to managing your money well. It leads to sleepless nights. If you have ever had had credit card debt that has a high balance, I'm guessing there have been times whenever you have been thinking about that at night and it has caused you to just not be able to fall asleep because that's just ruminating over and over in your mind. It also leads to panic whenever bills show up, especially unexpected bills. And of course, it leaves you with this just like gut feeling that you're never going to catch up, that you're always going to be stuck in this cycle. So what can you do? Well, my action step for you is to just take a deep breath and tell yourself this ends today. We have to have a plan. You can't just keep paying the minimum payments on your credit cards and get ahead. So we're going to be helping you with a plan today. No one goes into using a credit card saying, I'm just going to use this whenever I want to, and I'm never really going to care about it, and I'm just going to let it balance build and build and build and build. No one's going into using a credit card thinking that way, right? So how do we find ourselves in this credit card debt? If you have a lot of credit card debt, you might be thinking, how did I end up getting here? Let me introduce you to the credit card float. This is a cycle that many people find themselves in, and it is what leads to credit card debt. Here's what it looks like. First, you use your credit card. Maybe you're using it for groceries, gas, bills. Maybe you're using it to book a vacation. Either way, you start using that credit card. Then 5 days later on Friday, you get paid. So you use your current paycheck to pay off the credit card. So you're using your current paycheck to pay for your past expenses from 5 days ago. Everything's good. You feel great. You haven't paid any interest. You feel like you're on top of everything. Everything's good. And so because everything's good, because you feel like you're doing great, you repeat that cycle. You continue to use your credit card, and then when the next payday comes, you use that paycheck to cover your past expenses. But guess what? Something always happens. I promise something will always go wrong. That's one thing with life. We are going to be hit with unexpected expenses. We're going to be hit with impulse purchases, with opportunities to overspend. And what ends up happening whenever you are hit with an unexpected expense or you spend too much is that by the time that next paycheck comes, you don't have enough to be able to go back and pay off the full balance of that card. You just don't. You can't pay for your upcoming bills and pay for your past spending that paycheck. So what happens? You pay off some of it, but then you continue to have a balance. And we do this thing called the credit card float. That float where you're just kind of like floating along with your credit card balance, those interest rates kick in. And now that balance that was maybe $500 is up to $515 or $520. And ultimately you're stuck. Why are you stuck? It's because you are using your present moment's paycheck, today's paycheck, to pay for your past spending. When ultimately your paycheck today needs to cover today's spending and moving forward. Does that make sense? I mean, think about it. When we get paid, we want to use that paycheck from today to cover our expenses from today moving forward. But when we have credit card debt, we are using today's paycheck and we're trying to split it. We're trying to split it between today's expenses moving forward and pay for past expenses. And that's how we get in this cycle of the credit card float. So what do we need to do? We need to recognize it. We need to have some awareness and we need to move forward. One thing I did not think about adding in here, and I should have whenever I was planning out this video, is we need to stop using your credit card. Now, I do not think that credit cards are the devil. I don't think that they are evil. They are a tool. Just like a hammer is a tool that can be used to build something, a hammer can also be used to break glass. So a hammer can build a house or it can break glass. That is what a credit card is. It is a tool. It is up to you to decide how you are going to use it. The problem lies in that we were never taught how to have discipline with our credit cards. So if you're carrying a balance, if I was carrying a balance, in fact, I'll just put myself in your shoes. If I was carrying a balance on my credit card and I could not pay it off, I would stop using it because it's like you're taking 2 steps forward, 1 step back. And I don't want to be caught in that. I would no longer use it for any recurring expenses, for spending. I would make sure I get that balance to 0 before I start using it again. Okay, so how are we going to pay off that credit card debt? I'm breaking it down for you into 3 steps. Step 1 is to list your debts out. We need to know how much debt you have. And look, I get it. Facing that can be really scary. It can feel overwhelming. We might not want to look and see what's going on there. But awareness is key here. Awareness leads to change. No matter how scary it is, we need to know the facts. We need to know the numbers. We're going to write out the card name, the total balance, the interest rate, and the minimum monthly payment. Now, I created a free, this is totally free, what I call goodbye debt tracker, because I think we should all say goodbye to debt. I'll show you exactly what this looks like. Let's walk through one today. In this goodbye debt tracker, you'll see that these are actually credit cards that were sent in from one of the members inside of my membership, and she has 4 credit cards, and we will see I've listed out all the balances, all the interest rates, and the minimum payments. Now, what's so great about this tracker is it will tell you automatically, just like you don't have to do the math, it'll tell you how much balance you owe, what those monthly minimum payments are, and it's gonna give you a debt-free payoff date. What's so great about this tracker is that you can scroll up and it gives you the option to say, what if I send an extra $200 every single month from this moment on to my debt? You can type that in and then it's going to show you how much sooner you are going to be debt-free. You can choose your start date, your start year, and you can even toggle through and decide how you want to pay off debt. We're going to actually talk about that a little bit later on in a different step, but I just want you to look at this because it's going to show you which order to pay off debt and give you just some important information to help you stay on track. This is so important because it gives you the facts, it gives you the truth, it gives you awareness over your finances. And when we hide from that awareness, when we don't want to see it, then we're not going to take any action on it. That's why this is the first step, to just know your numbers, be able to put it all out there, even if it's scary. So that way we get some really good information and we can create a plan, right? We need to know our information before we create a plan. Step 1, the action tip, because I like for you to walk away with actually things that you can implement and do, is to get this free tracker. I'll link to it down below. It's 100% free, run on Google Sheets. Grab a copy of that. Even if it means that you hit pause right now and you get a copy, I promise you won't regret it. Once you have listed out your debts, once we're aware of how much debt you have, whether it's credit card debt or credit card debt and car loans, student loans, whatever it is, we need to pick a debt payoff plan. So in this video, I'm going to break it down into 2 options, and ultimately you have one goal, which is debt freedom, freedom from credit card debt specifically. My goal is for you to be able to learn about them and say, this one's best for me, or I choose this instead. So let's talk about it. The first option is the debt snowball method. What's great about the debt snowball method is it offers you really quick wins. Like you get a win right away depending on how much debt you have. So this is whenever you list out your debts in order from the smallest balance to the largest balance, meaning you do not take interest rates into account at all. We don't look at minimum monthly payments or interest rates. We are just paying off our cards in order from smallest to largest. So the way this would work is we would make the minimum payments on all of our debts, but any extra money you find, and you would make extra principal payments, that's key there, principal, extra principal payments to that smallest balance loan. So in this example, we can actually go into the debt tracker and under choose your strategy, we can click on debt snowball. And what's so great is that it will automatically filter our debts in order from smallest balance to highest balance, so you know which debt to focus on. So that way, when you do have extra money, maybe you get a bonus or you just cut back on some of your non-essential spending, you can send all of that extra money you have to that smallest balance, which is going to get you a really quick win. In this example, that means that credit card number 1 would be paid off first because it has a balance of $237. And then right after that, once that credit card is done, then we would work on credit card number 3. So we would bypass credit card number 2. We'd move on to credit card number 3, which has a $2,500 balance. Like I said, the debt snowball gives you really quick wins. It gives you a lot of motivation because you see, oh my gosh, I can do it, right? Because those balances are smaller, we get that like jolt of energy. We get the little applause. We get to know, oh my gosh, I can do this. I am capable, because I promise whenever we start getting down to those higher credit cards, like that $11,000 credit card, you're going to need that motivation, that proof that you are capable of paying off this debt. That's the debt snowball. Your other option is the debt avalanche method. This is the method where the math is mathing. It is the mathematically like correct, if you will, method for paying off debt, meaning that you are going to pay off your debts in order from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate, because it's going to give you the max amount of savings. You're going to save the most money this way. So when I go into our example, I can toggle from debt snowball to debt avalanche and watch what happens. It has now completely shifted our debt payoff order. So now credit card number 4, we are going to focus on first because it has the highest interest rate. Now, I will say that credit card number 4 has the highest interest rate, but in this example, it also has the highest balance, meaning it's going to take you a lot longer to see that win. It's going to take you a lot longer to pay off an $11,000 credit card compared to a $230 credit card. You have to have that discipline to be able to stick with the debt avalanche, which is why sometimes people choose to go with the debt snowball method. But if you're like, I don't need the discipline, I want to have the max amount of savings, then by all means, the debt avalanche is for you. Now, if I were to wake up tomorrow and be in $20,000 worth of credit card debt, I can tell you I would honestly go with the debt snowball method because I would need those quick wins. I would need that motivation, that proof, if you will, that I can do this. So if you're sitting here thinking, well, I don't know which one to do, Allison, should I do debt snowball or debt avalanche method? I'm just going to make the decision for you. Start with the debt snowball, get that small win and build momentum, okay? We don't want to spend a ton of time picking our strategy or picking our plan. We just want to do it and move forward so that way you can see success. And by all means, if halfway through this, you decide you want to switch it and go to debt avalanche, that's okay. It's your money, it's your debt, it's your life. You get to pick it. We just don't want to be spending all of our time and mental energy choosing a method. Pick one and let's move on to step 3. Step 3 is to find extra money to be able to send to debt. Now, you know I cannot have a business called Inspired Budget without talking about budgeting. I know that many people see budgeting as a punishment. And look, I get it. I used to think budgeting was a consequence for my poor choices. And I remember the first time I wrote a budget, I said, I'm only doing this until I pay off debt. And then once that debt is gone, I'm never budgeting again because I truly felt like it was this punishment, this consequence. But over time, I learned that it is not a punishment. It's actually empowering because it gave me back control over my money when for years, I felt like I had zero control of my money. So that's what we want for you. We want you to write a budget. And when you do that, ultimately, you're going to come up with 2 options to find extra money every month. You can either, number 1, spend less. When we think of saving money, we typically think of spending less. This would look like getting rid of any extra subscriptions, maybe not dining out anymore, or just not dining out as often. Let's say that you're spending $400 a month on dining out in restaurants and all of those kind of random fast food runs. Maybe we cut it back to $300 a month. And there we found an extra $100. It could be finding some control over just buying things randomly because you're bored, or no longer adding things onto the credit card. I know that this is something that we definitely had to do when we were paying off debt, and I thought it would be a lot harder than it actually was, but I've learned that simplicity is honestly beautiful when it comes to your spending and your money, because I see it as the less stuff I buy, the less stuff I have to maintain, the less stuff I have to clean in my house and take care of in my house. Now, you might be at a position where you have cut out all of your spending and there is no way you can spend less. You say, I'm not spending money on any frivolous things. What do I do? How do I still find extra money? Or maybe you've cut out what you can, but you still want to find extra money. So obviously we can spend less and then we can also earn more. Now, when we say earn more, so often we think that means going out and looking for a new job. And you might be thinking, I don't want to work a new job. I like my job. And that's not necessarily what I mean. Personally, from personal experience, when our family was paying off over 6 figures of debt, we had to get creative and we found ways to earn more money. We were both teachers, and so our salaries were pretty set. I couldn't go in and say, hey, can I work an extra shift? That wasn't an option. So we got creative. The first thing we did was we started selling stuff that we didn't want or need. And then we took on side hustles. I dabbled in some photography, personal one-on-one tutoring, even my husband taught summer school. I taught summer school. We found ways to earn extra money with what we could already do. And then the biggest way that we actually earned more was we did switch our jobs. And now we didn't go from being a teacher to working in corporate America. We both switched jobs and we moved from one smaller school district to a second school district that was larger and came with two $10,000 raises. So we just moved school districts doing the same exact job, the same amount of work, and we were able to just be paid more in a different area. That's personally what we did to earn more money. When it comes to spending less, ask yourself, what are you willing to let go of? Even if it's just temporarily, what are you willing to say, you know what, I really don't need this in my life right now. Maybe it's an extra subscription. Maybe it's a gym membership and you decide to work out from home. Or maybe you live in an apartment and you have access to an apartment gym. So you say, I'm gonna let go of my gym membership and use this one instead. Ask yourself what you're willing to let go of so that you can reach financial freedom sooner. And when it comes to earning more money, ask yourself, what can I do to make the most money in the shortest amount of time possible? That's legal. Okay. I'm not gonna like promote any illegal side hustles here, but ask yourself, what can I do? It doesn't have to be forever. You don't have to sign up for a part-time job and work it for the next 15 years of your life, but what can you do to earn more money in the shortest amount of time possible so that you can take that extra money and send it to your credit card debt? So my action step for you is to take a moment to write a temporary bare bones budget. What that means is that we are going to cut out any extra spending just for now to see how much money we could reasonably send extra to debt. You would be surprised that you might be able to find an extra $300, $400, $500 in your budget by just cutting out some things that you might not even enjoy spending money on. Ultimately, I know how stressful credit card debt can be. Those interest rates should be illegal, in my opinion. They absolutely should be illegal. There should be like a cap because I do think that it's also predatory, right? Like the bank already has their money. Let's stop getting it from people. Anyway, regardless, these are the 3 steps that you can follow to get started with paying off your credit card debt. Step 1, know your numbers, list out your debts. Step 2, get a plan in place. What are you going to choose? How are you going to pay off your debt? What's the order you're going to follow? And then step 3 is to find extra money by either earning more or spending less, or honestly, both. If you want a more detailed plan of how to pay off credit card debt, then be sure to download my free printable I have. Like literally, you don't even need to give me your email address. Just click the Google Drive link. This is your debt escape plan. It's 21 pages long. It's going to walk you through exactly what to do. We're going to be talking about, should you do a 0% balance transfer credit card? What to do if you're already behind? We're going to cover all of these situations. I'll link down below to the credit card debt escape plan, which will just give you a step-by-step plan and a clear strategy to follow when it comes to conquering your credit card debt. I know that whenever our family was paying off debt, there were times whenever I felt really stuck and I needed some extra motivation. And I found that motivation by honestly like listening, reading, watching other people's stories. So if that's you, I have another video that you are going to love. It's called The First 5 Things I Did to Pay Off $100,000 of Debt Without Making a Fortune. And in that video, I just walk you through kind of behind the scenes of exactly the process that we personally took. I think you're going to love it. Be sure to check it out.